After descending the stairs and coming face to face with the swarm, Nanami begins to daydream about Malaysia. He wishes he could have built a house on a secluded beach and read the countless books he never got around to finishing, and admits to himself that he's getting tired. Yeah, I think I'm all about to hurt your souls with this one here, boys. Nanami asks himself if he's done enough already, but continues to fight. He ferociously slices through the transfigured humans with his blunt sword until a familiar hand touches his chest. Nanami looks up to see Mahito and claims he didn't know the curse spirit was around. Mahito replies that he's been here the whole time and asks if the sorcerer would like to chat since they go way back. Instead of replying, Nanami looks down and speaks to Yu. He wonders why he came back to being a sorcerer himself and asks Hayabara what he was trying to do. Yu Hayabara's spirit appears and points Nanami to his right. Nanami looks over to find Yuji entering the station down the hall. Man, this is so messed up. He tells Hayabara that he doesn't want to end up cursing the young man. So like a damn king in his last moments, Nanami smiles to his protege and tells him that he's got it from here. Mahito promptly kills Nanami by totally destroying the upper half of his body, shocking the poor Yuji. Enraged in the next moment, Yuji rushes Mahito, ready to take revenge for his fallen mentor. Mahito calmly flicks a small transfigured human at Yuji and transforms it into one that can produce spikes from its head. Yuji avoids the spike attacks, but Mahito uses the transfigured humans to get behind Yuji and prepare his soul multiplicity technique. He follows up by unleashing Body Repel, a reaction that's due to the soul's rejection of the fusion. Mahito unleashes a long transfigured human that attempts to bite Yuji with its giant mouth. Yuji successfully grips its teeth and stops the attack, but Mahito appears from inside its mouth and lands a violent right that smashes Yuji's face and splits it open. Yuji asks how Mahito can toy so aimlessly with people's lives, and the cursed spirit just laughs at him. Mahito doesn't look for a reason, and he isn't remorseful in the slightest. The best answer Mahito can give is a demonstration. He creates Junpei's face with one hand and stabs it with the other, claiming Yuji and him are the same. Yuji tells Mahito he talks too much and that he will ensure that those are his dying words. He removes the blood from his face, stopping the bleeding and revealing a large scar. Nanami's voice reminds Yuji that he must remain calm, so as he takes his fighting stance, he allows cursed energy to flow calmly from his hands as he's determined to prove that he is a Jujutsu sorcerer. Mahito matches Yuji by concentrating cursed energy into his own fists while contemplating his strategy. Idle transfiguration doesn't work on Yuji, so Mahito decides maintaining his body's toughness is likely what Yuji believes is best for him. But instead, Mahito won't change his soul's shape at all, and now plans to stab Yuji through his heart in one attack. But when his fist pierces through the air, Yuji suddenly disappears from his sight. Using the momentum from getting to this lower position, Yuji then strikes Mahito in the face with the manji kick. Yuji then follows up by front kicking Mahito as well, but the curse quickly transforms his arm into a spiked vine that forces Yuji back. Impressed, Mahito admits that his technique wasn't half bad, and announces that it's time to move on to round 2. Mahito and Yuji continue fighting in Shibuya. The cursed spirit attempts to slash Yuji, but the latter jumps over the attack. After missing, Mahito runs and uses a delayed transfiguration to catch Yuji off guard. He avoids it again, and Mahito follows up with a punching attack from a large, enhanced extra arm wrapped around his torso. Like he's out of frickin' Afro Samurai or something with an extra arm. Yuji catches the attack, and Mahito immediately recognizes the danger this presents. Yuji counters, but Mahito immediately dismembers his own arm out of fear. He runs through the ticket gate and merges back with his severed arm once they're at a safe distance. Mahito knows attacking directly is a big risk for him, so he decides to stick to using transfigured humans. However, reducing risk isn't the only reason for this strategy. Mahito then runs into a different area in the station and disappears from Yuji's sight. The young student gets spotted by 2 civilians who warn him it's dangerous to be lurking around. Yuji believes Mahito had run upstairs and tries to tell the 2 non-sorcerers to hide. Suddenly, Mahito's arm appears from the inside of their mouths and punches Yuji. The special grade climbs out of the man as if he was shedding his skin and transforms the other civilian into a sword. Honestly, man, like I forgot about this part. Like this is some next level sneakery. It's just pure gangster by Mahito, man. Like turning a person's body into a sword is so freaking cool. Anyways, Mahito tells his adversary to work on his imagination. Skipping back to nearly 2 hours ago in Shibuya Station, around the time Mahito, Choso, and Jogo began their hunt for Yuji. In order to find Yuji first, Mahito had split himself into two. Presently, Mahito's other self encounters Nobara in an alleyway. She recognizes him from past reports from Yuji. Mahito takes it as a compliment that he's famous, but Nobara claims that he's only known for being a coward. Amused, Mahito decides to kill her. Nobara tries to remember what it was like to unleash the Black Flash, attempting to tap into the core of cursed energy. In a short exchange, Nobara manages to get the better of Mahito, using clever explosions of her pins and the environment around them. He admits that she isn't half bad, but doesn't believe her attacks can actually bring him harm. The cursed spirit understands that Nobara is an ally of Yuji's and plans to bring her corpse to him and destroy his soul. So, yeah, get ready. At 11:14 PM, after Nanami left Nobara and Akari behind, the first year student refused to leave with the paramedics team. They didn't tell Nobara that Shoko was in the Shibuya district, so she didn't do anything reckless. However, she ignored Nanami's orders to stay out anyway and went off alone. Back on the clock at 11:20 PM inside of the station, Mahito skewers 3 innocent civilians and uses them to attack Yuji as he comes up the stairs. Yuji checks on the conditions of one of the injured people, only for them to transfigure and explode. The blood gets in Yuji's eyes, leaving him vulnerable to an attack from behind. Mahito transforms his arm into a spiked club and prepares to finish him off. Meanwhile, in an alley nearby, Mahito is still clashing with Nobara. She avoids his hands, but Mahito's double can't transfigure other souls anyway. This double attacks by transfiguring himself, since this isn't Yuji and he doesn't incur any risks. Nobara tries to trade blows, but it doesn't seem to work. Mahito casually avoids Nobara's projectile nails as she climbs up the side of the alley onto a higher platform. She drops several nails at Mahito's feet and detonates them with the hairpin before coming back down, confusing Mahito with her movements. While he's focused on Nobara, she activates hairpin again and her curse energy extends them into Mahito's lower body, immobilizing him. Nobara mounts Mahito while he's injured, but he doesn't see any potential danger regardless. However, unbeknownst to the special grade, Nobara has figured out a way to attack his soul. Mahito realizes Nobara was bluffing about not having a plan, but it was too late. She hammers a nail directly into his forehead and activates resonance. By using Mahito's body as the effigy, Nobara can use her curse technique to attack his soul. As a result, resonance also relays from the double to the original soul and rebounds the damage back, greatly injuring them both. Back in the other fight, this injury just happens to stop him from finishing Yuji off. Yuji manages to open his eyes and recognizes Nobara's needle sticking out of the curse's chest. Mahito's double is shocked and realizes that Yuji isn't his only natural enemy. The girl of steel standing before him can attack his soul as well. Nobara reveals that she felt her cursed energy activate somewhere else nearby. Additionally, she doesn't feel Mahito's cursed energy is as strong as it should be. She surmises that Mahito is simply a double that can't properly use his innate technique. Amused, Mahito licks the blood dripping from his face and admits his adversary is completely correct. Recognizing his classmate's curse technique, Yuji capitalizes and pummels Mahito with rapid-fire cursed energy-infused punches. While Yuji bashes Mahito into a pillar with a relentless barrage, he solemnly thanks Nobara. Yuji believes he hasn't been able to save anyone and that he's wasted everyone's efforts, but Nobara's help has shown him he's still not alone. Inspired by Nobara, Yuji keeps the pressure on and prepares to exercise Mahito here and now. Meanwhile, in the alley, the nail drops from Mahito's double's forehead as he affirms her theory about him. Nobara believes the real duel begins now, but the double decides to run away instead and heads directly into the subway entrance. Nobara could just ignore him, but she has a bad feeling about letting him run loose and decides to exercise him. Before Yuji can finish off Mahito's main body, the special grade splits into several small spherical versions of himself that run across the room. One of them flares up its curse energy as a feint to get Yuji's attention and allow the others to escape. The other doubles then reform into Mahito's body as he runs away. Both Mahitos enter the same corridor with the 2 Jujutsu High students chasing them. Yuji initially believes Mahito is trying to heal until he sees Nobara. He immediately yells for her to run away, realizing the danger she's suddenly in. Since Mahito isn't able to use the idle transfiguration technique on Yuji, he made the second body that can't use idle transfiguration attack Yuji and his other body that can use idle transfiguration attack Nobara. As Nobara and Mahito fight, he was able to touch her and used his idle transfiguration. Nobara holds her face and recalls everyone in the village she was from being crazy. She used to believe that lots of people were crazy and got in the way of other people's lives, but that was until she attended Jujutsu High and learned that being crazy isn't so bad after all. She pictures the images of all of her friends and apologizes to Fumi for being unable to meet her again in the future. Nobara looks at Yuji and tells him to make sure everyone knows it wasn't so bad, and as she says that, Nobara's face swells up around her left eye and bursts from the effects of Mahito's technique. Yuji watches in horror as Nobara's eye shoots violently out of her head and her blood splatters on his face. Nobara lays before Yuji, missing an eye and likely dead. Losing to Choso, Sukuna's rampage, and Nanami's death had already taken a toll on Yuji's resolve. Having reached its limit a long time ago, Yuji's spirit breaks after Nobara is unable to answer, and he desperately screams her name. This douche, happy with himself, commends his own talents and believes he is a true curse. He then successfully unleashes a damn black flash on Yuji just to follow up on his already dying soul. Mahito's black flash sends Yuji crashing through the station. The special grade continues to beat on him while exposing Yuji's determination for being weak. Mahito believes that it isn't simply a battle to fix something, this is a war of truths. He believes Yuji is the same as him because he kills without hesitation, just as Yuji saves people without a second thought. I truly do love how well Mahito has been written as a character. I freaking hate this guy so damn much. Damn dude. Mahito believes that this conflict will determine which of the two remains 100 years from now. After thoroughly beating Yuji down, both mentally and physically, Mahito asks the student how he ever planned on winning and if he's ever counted how many curses he's exercised. Mahito has never cared about how many people he's killed, and he believes he'll forget about Yuji eventually. He morphs his arm into a praying mantis-like claw and attempts to kill Yuji. However, there is a clapping noise and suddenly, Mahito is displaced.